Hey everybody, Icon here. Today we take you through a quick tutorial of the Velonasaur and Ark Extinction. As we hop into some gameplay here, the first thing we'll go over is how to tame a Velonasaur. There are a number of different ways that you could tame one of these, including standing on top of a ledge and shooting down arrows from above, but what I have found is that the easiest thing to do is to line up a series of large bear traps and kite the Velonasaur into it. The main reason why I prefer this bear trap method as opposed to standing on a ledge and raining arrows down from above is because once the Velonasaur is in the bear trap, it no longer uses its deadly machine gun mechanic. It will only try to escape the large bear trap by swinging its front paws, and that attack is the least deadly of its three main abilities. As with many things in Ark, be prepared for any hiccups along the way. The Velonasaur is an ultra aggressive dino, so it is best to clear the area before beginning your kite. As you can see here, this level 145 Velonasaur gets caught up on some stegos on its way back to the track, which ultimately sidetracks my endeavor. Remember, ultimately the most important thing is the health of your Velonasaur, so if it does indeed get sidetracked, be prepared to help it kill anything throughout your journey. After the stegos are dead, I return back to the Velonasaur to regain aggro and continue my kite back to the traps. As soon as I get to the top of this small hill, I notice that Ark timing has struck once again, this time in the form of a thorny dragon in my series of bear traps. After losing aggro and killing the dragon, I pick up the remaining bear traps and repeat the process, this time in a different location. Unfortunately, the thorny dragon ran through 3 of my 4 large bear traps, which left me with just 1 to finish the job. After getting a couple shots in, I successfully kite the Velonasaur into my 1 remaining trap, making for an easy target with my next few arrows. To reiterate a point I was making earlier, now that the dino is caught in my trap, you can see that it will no longer try to shoot you with its deadly machine gun ability. This entire time, it only tries to escape the trap using its swiping front paws ability, which ultimately makes for a much less stressful time. Now that my lone bear trap has gave way, I'm lucky to find a small rock in the vicinity that I can run around to keep this Velonasaur from squaring up and shooting me with its machine gun ability. If you ever find yourself in a similar scenario, just try to stay to the side of the Velonasaur and it will have no way of damaging you. After continuing this battle for another 20 seconds or so, it finally begins its final flight to try to get away. After chasing it and shooting it with only a few more arrows, it finally falls, allowing me to put my raw prime meat into its inventory, which ultimately completes the taming process. Now that the Velonasaur is ours, we'll talk about its 3 main abilities, the first being its most deadly for a single target, the turret machine gun ability. As you approach a dinosaur, you can press C to enter turret mode, and then begin your assault by holding down the left mouse button. As you continue your spray, just be aware of your stamina bar in the top right corner of your screen. If the stamina bar gets too low, the dino will stop shooting and you'll have to resort to its close quarter swiping attack, which is by far its least deadly. In this final clip, I'll show you the remaining 2 abilities of the Velonasaur, the first being the right click attack, which makes the Velonasaur swing its tail in a back and forth motion, propelling scales in all directions for a large AoE effect. This is best used when a singular threatening dino is too close to use your turret mode, or if you get surrounded by a flock of enemies. You can see at the end of this battle that I end up losing my stamina, which ultimately forces me to finish the battle by swinging my front claws. This final ability should be a last resort, as the other 2 are far superior in just about every way imaginable. Last but not least, some final tips for the Velonasaur. Your ranged turret attack does have a distance limit, so be sure to spend some time getting comfortable with your distance ranges before diving into any heavy battles. In terms of leveling, make sure your stamina ends up being just as high, if not slightly higher than your overall health, as running out of stamina from a flurry of attacks is the Velonasaur's ultimate downfall. If you're new around here, feel free to drop a like and hit that subscribe button for all future tutorials. As always, thanks, and we'll catch you in the next one.